or its ownership.
Welcome, good morning, Santa Clarita, how are you? You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson. Welcome in. While our campuses are closed and continue to remain closed for the remainder of the school year, it looks, our students are at home, they're working with you, but KHTS, in collaboration with SCVI and iLEAD Charter Schools, is bringing you this special edition of Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. We're here to support the work that you're doing with your children at home. We're here to be there for you so that you can be there for your kids, maintaining that growth and learning. We're also here to help you take care of you. So we've got academic guests, educational guests that help you monitor yourself and your children and how everything's going at home. We come to you live each day at 9 a.m., providing support and updates for you on your distance learning journey. We're also continually curating and adding new resources for you on our website. It's called homeschoolinganswers.com. That's homeschoolinganswers.com. Head on over there to check out everything that you could ever need in the way of academic support for your children during this time. We've also got parenting tips and all different kinds of resources for you. There's folks that'll read stories to your kids. You can curate, you can look through the resources via the grade level that your child is in or the subject matter that you're looking for. There's all different kinds of resources. I know my friend Amber Soto is posting new math videos every day that have been fantastic, gotten great response from them. And if you head over to the website, again, it's homeschoolinganswers.com, and if you're not finding what you're looking for, would you shoot us an email? Just email us at homeschoolinganswers@ileadschools.org. Let us know what you're looking for. Let us know what's vexing you, what it is that you're struggling with. Even if you don't think that we'll have an answer for us, just shoot us a message over at homeschoolinganswers@ileadschools.org and let us know what you need, and we'll either get it up on the website, we'll talk about it here on the radio show, or we'll reach out to you and do our best to make sure that you and your children have everything that you need. Well, we do have a packed show today, and we've got an exciting week. It's going to be a beautiful week, going to be heating up this week. So we've got a lot to do, a lot to talk about. Today we're going to be checking in with my boss, Dawn Evenson, CEO of iLEAD California and co-founder of SCVI Charter School. You know, on March 13th, when all of our area schools announced that their sites were closing, Dawn's schools announced that they would be ready for distance learning that very Monday without missing a beat, without missing a day of school. Dawn was on our show that following day, that next Tuesday, to let us know how online learning and distance learning was rolling out. Well, 6 weeks later, we're going to see how it's going. We're going to be checking back in with Dawn. We'll also be talking with College of the Canyon's Dean of Educational Technology, Learning Resources, and Distance Education. Never realized how important that guy was going to be. James is going to be here talking about specifics on COC's online learning program. And as always, we will wrap up our show talking with our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, Cristina Debray. It's going to be a great day. Why? Because we choose to make it a great day. Our first guest is currently serving as the founder and CEO for iLEAD California. Dawn Evenson has over 30 years' experience in education and has substantial experience and expertise in kindergarten through 8th grade curriculum, instruction, assessment, school leadership, and governance. She's been a teacher and school administrator in both primary and secondary schools. Dawn has held several positions in the Association of California School Administrators, including serving as the Region 15 president a few years back. She was also awarded the Region 15 Middle School Principal of the Year award by that organization in 2006. Dawn is the founding administrative member of SCVI, iLEAD's founding school. She's passionate about creating educational options for her families that are innovative, engaging, and supportive. Her mission is to provide equal opportunity by creating relevant, high-quality educational experiences for all students. And if you've spent any time around SCVI and iLEAD schools, you know exactly what I mean. Dawn is constantly working with her team to make sure that every single child has the optimal learning experience that they need in order to help them along their educational journey. And if we don't have it, then Dawn and her team get to work right away on developing it and designing it. Dawn grew up in Sandpoint, Idaho. It's a small artsy town in the Pacific Northwest, beautiful little town. She completed her undergraduate degree at Whitworth University in Spokane, Washington, and she currently lives in Lancaster, California with her scientific husband and 3 talented daughters. She believes in living a positive life that uplifts others, and she truly is an inspiring and empowering person to be around, and her story of how she knocked cancer out is just a small part of that. Dawn, good morning. Welcome in.
Hey, good morning, Matt. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you for joining us again. We appreciate it. I know how busy you are, but we do have a lot we want to talk to you about. As I mentioned before, the last time that you joined us, Dawn, you mentioned how you and the rest of the leadership team at iLEAD had prepared 4 weeks in advance to move our learners to distance learning. You know, at the time you didn't know that that's what we were doing, but you had the foresight 4 weeks ahead of our school closures, so way back in February. How did you know? What kind of inkling did you get so far in advance in order to work with your team to make these preparations, and what advantage do you think that it gave our schools?
So that's kind of 2 questions. I'll take the first one first, about how did we know to start making these preparations? And it was mid-February, and I don't know, I'd just been watching the news, and I think as a leader, there are times when you just really need to trust your gut. And I started to think that this virus really could put a wrench in things for us as a country and as a school in particular. And so I, of course, called Amber Raskin, and we talked it over, and she didn't think I was crazy. She thought that it would be a really great idea if we came up with a plan, and so we started working on it then. As far as the advantage that it gave to our schools, one thing that we have to remember that when you're navigating the unknown, it can be really scary because change is a normal part of life, but people are naturally hardwired to be resistant, and they often want to fight against it. So then it becomes that your job as a leader is to turn their fear of change into hope for better and new opportunities, like new perspectives. So I think what we did is we started with a really small core group because we didn't want everyone to, think, because at that time nobody was really talking about the virus. We just wanted to be prepared, and we didn't want, to alarm anybody in our organization. So we just started with a small core group, and what we really did was focus on empathy, because we knew that this change was going to be difficult, and so we looked at every sort of feeling that someone could have when presented with this. So, you have families that are like despair and really worried that maybe they can't provide the educational benefit for their kids. You have your staff that has been coming into school every day, sometimes for over 20 years, and now they're shifting to something virtual, and most of them really didn't even have a lot of knowledge about Zoom meetings. So just taking a look at all of it helped us to create a plan. And that planning time that we had allowed us to really create a safe space, and it gave us the time to create a well-articulated plan that would give us time to guide and support and listen so that we can identify what the needs were of our staff and families and kids, and then respond to those.
It's interesting when we talk about, we've talked a lot about the 7 habits on the show, and we talked about putting first things first. I guess starting so far in advance allows you to focus on the important before it becomes too urgent. It allows you to take the time to put thought into your plan rather than having, overnight, over a weekend, over just a couple of days to get things done, and I think that probably benefited so many people. So let's talk about the preparations that you had to make, because there was a lot that goes into it. Oftentimes, we don't really take into account everything going on in the background, everybody that has to be involved. So what did it take to have everything ready? Because like I said, we closed our school sites Friday afternoon. The kids went home for the weekend. Come Monday morning, they were up and running. So what did it take to have everything ready to do that?
Well, first and foremost, I'm always going to take it back to the people. It takes great leadership from everyone in our organization. And it takes the C's of leadership, really: communication, collaboration, coordination, creativity, and courage. Lots and lots of courage. We sent out many communications to our families and to our staff and to our board members, letting them know where we were in the process and what we were thinking about so that everybody could be on the same page. And then there's the logistical things, of course, like surveying all of our families to make sure that they had the appropriate technology, who needed hotspots, who needed laptops or Chromebooks. We had some staff training that happened. In fact, we were scheduled to do it on Monday the 16th, but as things were progressing that week of Friday the 13th, we realized that we were going to have to do it much more quickly, and so we actually did it on Thursday afternoon. And we decided that morning to have our school directors pull their staff in, and then each member of our maker team, and you're one of those, Matt, went and helped support our school directors as they talked to the staff about and trained the staff on how to have a Zoom meeting and what it might look like. So we also put in our, on Friday morning, we put in our food service voucher and plan and started serving meals on that Monday also. So there were lots and lots of logistics, and many people within our organization were responsible for those, and they did really a stellar job in making sure that everything happened and was smooth.
Absolutely. I know they did, and I know how much our parents have appreciated the lack of a gap. Kids that need food can't wait a couple days till we get our stuff in order. Right. And, you know, you mentioned with the change and all of a sudden, wait, schools are closed, we have to stay home. To have kids being able to connect with their facilitators, that's what we call teachers, and to continue forward, even with the projects they were working on in classroom. What they were working on Friday continued on Monday. That was so helpful, kind of for the emotional security of the kids. And we'll talk about families in just a little bit. But like I said, we haven't spoken with you in about 6 weeks now, at least on the air. Mm-hmm. And so I want to ask you outlined the plan for distance learning and how everyone is working through our online charter school, iLEAD Online, through the shells that they've provided. But that was only day 2 when we spoke. So was it smooth sailing from the start? So how are things rolling out? And then what kind of support did the staff have? Did the parents have as distance learning began on March 16th?
So, you know, best laid plans, there's always going to be, you know, little glitches in them. Sure. And I remember distinctly that weekend getting a call that we were having difficulty shifting and entering all of the information from our student information system into the system, the platform that we are using for our online learning for our kids. And so we had several conversations that weekend, and the IT team, they're pretty incredible, along with Allison Bravo, who's part of our iLEAD Online team, and she was really the project manager for this whole shift. Mm-hmm. Worked on it all weekend to make sure that everything, you could just push a button and then all of the kids were shifted over. The other funny thing is that we had sent out a communication to our families letting them know that this is what was going to happen on Monday, and that they would be in Monday they would have an orientation for their kids to understand the platform that we were using. And if they had problems, they were to get a tech ticket so they could click on and create a tech ticket. And for some reason, they were so eager to start that on Saturday we got probably like 1,000 tech tickets because people couldn't get through yet, but the system wasn't set up until Monday. So that was a funny kind of thing. And so we had to do Zoom support sessions for all of our staff and parents. We did webinars that were very well attended by our parents, and this was all like on Monday evening and Tuesday evening of that first week. And we had the unique advantage of having half of our organization that is already in the independent study world. And iLEAD Online is one of those schools. So we had people on that side that had been working in a virtual environment that really shifted over and held hands with the other people from our organization to help them make that shift. And I think that because of that, we were very successful because we knew what pitfalls might be coming and what ways we could provide support. We also had, like I talked about, our IT department was stellar. They were available for everyone, answering tech tickets constantly. And our maker team was in support of the curriculum. And in fact, last week, even, we had a scheduled personal development day, and we continued with that, and we just provided asynchronous and synchronous learning for our facilitators, and that was an overwhelming success. We got really positive reviews from our staff, so that's helpful too.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting, Dawn. You mentioned the professional development day. Every year when spring break, the week after spring break, our kids actually get one more day of vacation as our staff comes back that Monday after spring break, and we do staff training, we do professional development. Everyone comes together at SCVI, and it's nice about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through the school year to have all the staff come together. But when we can't gather, it's interesting. The logical first thought is, okay, well, we'll just cancel that, give everybody one day more of vacation. But staff needed so much more support, right? To go from, okay, they were surviving distance learning to now here's how to really make it sing. And I did think it was interesting. We did get the best feedback I think we've ever had in our trainings in April, didn't we?
Yes, absolutely, without a doubt.
Okay, so now we're 6 weeks later. The rollout went smoothly. So how's it going today? How do you see, as you kind of survey the land and see how all the classes are going? Because your schools are, you mentioned we've got some kids that do distance learning, some kids that do online learning, homeschooling. We've got kids that are used to classroom-based learning. We've got kindergarten, or actually pre-kindergarten through 12th grade. We kind of run the gamut. And then there's also special education considerations. We have everything that there is out there. So as you look out, how's it going today? How's everything working?
I think it's doing great. I think when we started all of this, our whole focus was just on engaging our learners and our families and our staff in this process. So we were, it was a pretty smooth rollout because we kept telling them less is more, meaning that for our staff, you don't go and get on a computer and then try to teach your class all day. That will kill you and your learners. So that message was very clear. We also focused on the social emotional aspects of all of this change, and we would say Maslow before Bloom. And so that first week was really the rollout, the connect, support, and making sure that we were reaching all of our learners. Phase 2 was community outreach, where we did some webinars. We started Together Tuesdays, which is kind of a neat thing where our families send in pictures of their kids learning, what either a product of what they're creating or them in the process of learning. And every week we get to look forward to coming together as an iLEAD community. A lot of care in phase 2. We had really looked at some of our most vulnerable populations. What can we do about food? What can we do about connection? And with those, with the question about food, what we understood was that we were helping people during the week, but we hadn't yet been helping them for the weekend. So starting this Friday, we are going to be providing enough lunch and breakfast for Saturday and Sunday also to help out our families.
Wow, that is fantastic. And then, keep going. Go
ahead. That's okay. And then we had the iLEAD Helpline. And that is for any of our families that might be experiencing stress or need some support from the community. We can connect them with resources that are going to really help them through this change. And then we have our employee services came out with Mindful Mondays and Wellness Wednesdays, and then all of our staff is doing personal check-ins with other staff members to make sure that everyone's okay. Because sometimes people will act like they are, and they aren't necessarily.
Well,
yes. And phase 3 is really where we are right now, Matt.
Okay.
And that's really to deepen the curriculum. And as we said before, provide the professional development that's needed, and to make sure that a lot of things, as much as possible, can move forward. Like Dream Up, that's our International Space Station program that our kids participate in. Mm-hmm. That has shifted to virtual planning, and that's going really well. Our 10th grade personal project that we have at SCBI, where our 10th graders begin at the beginning of the year thinking about a passion that they have and then creating a project from that, and they work on it really hard all year. And that personal project reveal is going to go forward. The panels will be virtual, and so will the presentations, of course. We also have senior defense portfolios. And our homeschool families created and put on a virtual science fair. So there's lots of things. You just kind of have to look at it from a different angle and tackle it. But this whole phase that we're in right now is about deepening the curriculum, really taking a look at our projects and how we go forward with the kids.
That's interesting. You talked about Maslow's before Bloom's, where we have to make sure that the basic needs are met, that everybody's okay in this distance learning, make sure that the kids are getting fed, and then we can gradually shift to that deeper learning, those extending those projects. That is fantastic. We're talking with Dawn Evenson, CEO of iLEAD California and co-founder of SCBI Charter School. We do need to take a short commercial break, but we're going to continue our conversation with Dawn when we get back. Please stay tuned. For more information on how COVID-19 is affecting our valley, I want you to go to hometownstation.com. Click on the red banner there. There you'll find tips on the economy, health updates, and special business hours, and much, much more. That's hometownstation.com. You're listening to SCBI Charter School's Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson, on your hometown station, KHTS.
California Credit Union, the only credit union in Santa Clarita focused on our educational community. California Credit Union offers low rates on loans for personal and business services, along with financial services for teachers, students, staff, and families. Free checking and very low new and used auto loan rates.
California Credit Union, your personal credit union, located in the River Oak Shopping Center next to Target.
Visit us and open an account today. Insured by NCUA, an agency of the federal government.
This is Suzette Martinez Valadares. Many child care centers are closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The child care providers that are open are serving our essential workforce and finding it very difficult to find or purchase the supplies needed to keep their facilities clean and children healthy. Our healthcare professionals are fighting to save lives. First responders and law enforcement are bravely serving our community, and our grocery store clerks are keeping our local markets stocked. This is our chance to help them. This is why we are launching Operation Childcare. Our mission is to collect donations for local early childhood education providers serving our frontline essential workforce. Donations needed include hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, disinfectant spray, disposable gloves, and masks. These donations can be dropped off at KHTS Radio, located at 24320 Main Street in Newhall, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
He broke records and piloted the F-18 Super Hornet in combat. Answering our nation's call, he served with honor. Then Mike Garcia returned home to his family, to a far worse California from where he grew up. Now, Garcia's next mission: cut taxes, clean up homelessness in our cities. With California on the brink, we need a fighter to answer the call once again. Mike Garcia for Congress.
I'm Mike Garcia, and I approve this message.
Yes, Dunkin' is open. The continued stay-at-home orders have been rough on all of us, but Dunkin' is trying to make things just a little bit better. There are many ways to get your Dunkin' fix. You can carry out at both locations, or you can drive through at Canyon Country, or get curbside service at the Bouquet Canyon Dunkin'. Both offer Grubhub and Postmates delivery and are open till 6 p.m. Don't forget, use your Dunkin' app for on the go to order, pay, and accumulate points. Dunkin' cares about the SCV.
Your building sign is essential to getting customers to your location. Feathers can help you get your business noticed. Feathers, now in a new, larger space with plenty of parking. They walk you through each phase of your project with special attention to detail and quality. Feathers will provide you with a sign that you can be proud of. Your sign will draw customers in instead of having them drive by. Visit Feathers online at feathersigns.com or go to Feathers' brand new, bigger location at 26017 Huntington Drive off Rye Canyon, or call 298-9442.
Mission Valley Bank is a commercial bank in the Santa Clarita Valley that really puts the community into community banking.
At Mission Valley Bank, we strive to be a trusted advisor to our clients, and that means being an integral part of the communities we serve. We started the Give Where You Live program to help bring awareness to our nonprofit partners. We're more than just just a local business bank. In fact, we're a full-service, independent commercial bank that is locally owned, community-minded, and relationship-driven. I'm Tamara Gurney, President and CEO of Mission Valley Bank, and I invite you to experience the Mission Valley Bank difference, where your success is our mission. We want to be your most valued bank.
Mission Valley Bank has been named Most Trusted Advisor Business Banker by the San Fernando Valley Business Journal 5 years in a row and received the Business Leadership Award by the Santa Clarita Valley Chamber of Commerce, Valley Industry Association, and SCV Economic Development Corporation. Visit them at their Center Point branch location or at missionvalleybank.com. Member FDIC.
Mark Schneider and daughter Kaylee for Pacific Air.
The world has changed a lot recently.
And we understand that while many families are at home sheltering in place, essential services, including Pacific Air, are still open.
That means if you're having a problem with your heating and air, or want the air in your home to be as clean as possible, we can help keep you comfortable and safe.
From system repairs to our new air scrubbers that kill 99% of all airborne contaminants, we're here to help.
Our techs now wear extra safety equipment, and we keep a safe distance from you and your family while getting the work done as quickly as possible.
Stay safe, practice social distancing, and remember,
Pacific Air is open and ready to help you keep your home's air clean and comfortable.
Call the guys in the orange truck. That's Pacific Air. On time, great care. When you want the best, call Pacific Air.
Pacific Air is open and available to help you with heating and air problems, install air scrubbers, and more. Go to pacair.com. Remember, without the E, it's just air.
With many auto dealers currently closed, Reeves Complete Auto Center is open to handle service and repairs for your vehicle. With a 2-year, 24,000-mile parts and labor warranty, Dave Reeves and his team have been exceeding their customers' expectations for decades. Reeves Complete Auto Center is here for you while your dealer is closed. On Soledad and Ruther, ReevesService.com. Reeves Complete Auto Center, caring about Santa Clarita and you.
Hi, this is Kirk Stinson with Plumbing by Kirk, your hometown plumber. By this time, you should know where all your gas and water shutoff valves are in case of an emergency. If you don't, you should call Plumbing by Kirk. Our friendly staff will be more than happy to set an appointment for one of our technicians to come to your home and clearly mark all your shutoff valve locations. We invite you to visit our website for free plumbing advice at plumbingbykirk.com or give us a call, 263-6519. That's 263-6519.
My dad is the best plumber ever. Call Plumbing by Kirk.
Our trash has got to go somewhere, and Chiquita Canyon Landfill is helping make the Santa Clarita Valley a little greener. Our local landfill creates clean energy from our waste disposal to power 10,000 homes each year. With their 9.2 megawatt clean energy facility harnessing the landfill's methane gas, you can feel good that the waste from your home in the SCV is helping create a clean energy source. Chiquita Canyon Landfill is our partner in sustainable living.
Chiquita Canyon is helping lead the way to a greener future.
Save water and save money. SCV Water wants to help you find your fit and take advantage of conservation rebate programs that will help you save. Water your landscape more efficiently. Replace your lawn with water-wise plants. Conduct free in-home water surveys. Cover your swimming pool and more. Find the programs that fit your needs and start saving today. Visit conserve.yourscvwater.com to learn more.
That's conserve.yourscvwater.com.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. You are listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 on the FM dial and 1220 AM. I am Matt Watson. This is SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. We're talking this morning with CEO of iLEAD California and co-founder of SCVI Charter School. Dawn, you mentioned before we took the break how our schools have transitioned from phase one, where we were focusing more on Maslow's hierarchy of needs, to phase three now, where we're getting into deeper levels of Bloom's taxonomy. Just to, that kind of stuff becomes so second nature for our staff and everyone at iLEAD schools and how we do things. But just so that our listeners understand, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Maslow talked about how we can't really focus on anything until our primary needs are met. And so Dawn talked about how the first thing we wanted to do is make sure that kids were safe, secure, fed, and then felt comfortable and that they knew that everything was going to be okay. And once they get kind of those concerns off of their mind, then they can shift into what we talked about, Bloom's taxonomy, which is just the different levels of complexity and depth of understanding. And so once we're allowed to take care of kids' basic needs, then we can get them really engaged academically and get them thinking about kind of those higher order things. And so, Dawn, as we've gone from now phase 1 to 2 to 3, now we're going to head into, I'm guessing, what comes next, phase 4, phase 5. We've now announced that distance learning is going to continue for the rest of the year. Excuse me. So our school sites are going to be closed. We're going to continue with this new model for at least the continuation of the school year. Let me ask you a few questions about the ramifications of that decision. First of all, we do have a couple of different high school programs. So what plans are being made for graduation in our high school programs? Do you have an idea of how that might work? Because some of our programs, like we spoke with Malika last week about Empower Generations, they've got just over a dozen learners that are going to be graduating. I can imagine that's different than SCVI that's got several dozen that are going to be graduating this year. What plans are being made?
So at SCVI in particular, and also our homeschool programs, we have the unique advantage of being a TK, meaning transitional kindergarten, so before kindergarten.
Right, those are 4.5-year-olds.
Mm-hmm. So some of our kids that are scheduled to graduate this year have been with us since they were in first grade. So we will do something to mark this special event. I don't think that we've had all the logistics figured out yet, and we're especially going to the kids and asking them what they would like and trying to accommodate what that is, because our graduation ceremony at SCVI is something that everyone always looks forward to. It's very personal. It's really a special event. So we're obviously not going to do it on the date that we had planned, which was early June, but we might be able to do it later in the summer, and maybe somehow in shifts or some virtual. Those plans have not been solidified yet.
Sure, I can imagine what kind of, like you said, making plans, surveying the kids, and I love that you're pulling the kids in and getting their thoughts, because this is just such a huge life event for them that, as you said, they've been looking forward to for the longest time. But then also with different social restrictions and guidelines kind of coming through every week, every day, you don't know in June what the guidelines are going to be. So it's, again, so good to be intentional and get everybody's input and talk about that. That is terrific. So now for those kids that aren't graduating, that are coming back next year, as we get into the fall, what do you foresee? Knowing again that you can't necessarily plan for or predict what's going to come in the future, do you feel like we're going to be returning to normal, everyone going back to school in August, September, or do you see it more as a socially distanced kind of thing? I've read some articles, and I'm sure you've been looking into it as well about what a socially distanced campus might look like and how that might work. Do you see a hybrid coming? What do you think might happen next year?
Well, I think that we've had a lot of discussions about this and have for the past couple of weeks especially. And again, just like planning for this whole pandemic, you don't know what's going to come in your way, so you have to keep as nimble and flexible as possible. One thing I will say is that in our organization, we have a lot of experience with hybrid programs. And when I say hybrid, I mean maybe you come to school a couple of days a week, and then at home you work on distance learning for a couple of days a week, and maybe Fridays are alternating, or maybe that's a day that staff can get some planning done and still meet with their entire class. So essentially talking about splitting the classes into two and having small groups of 12 at a time, so that maybe that makes it more manageable. I mean, really, who knows, though? We haven't ever made that decision for a site-based school before, but I do know for sure that we have a lot of experience in running those hybrid programs, since some of our schools are already hybrid. And so that experience will help us to roll out more smoothly if that's what we are presented with.
Absolutely. I mentioned last break how you and your team really do work hard to make sure that every child has the educational experience that best meets their needs. And in doing that, you've developed a lot of different models, a lot of different programs. That type of flexibility has really come into benefit for all of our kids now. Kids that didn't need it in the past, now by necessity of this pandemic, may be needing it. So so that's terrific. It's going to require some work with the state, like you said, especially with our classroom-based schools. But kind of everything's off the table. We're in uncharted territory, aren't we?
Absolutely.
So during this time, Dawn, what have you seen? Let me ask kind of a two-part question. What have you seen as the biggest challenge that you and your schools have faced, and then what are you most proud of during this time?
Well, I believe the biggest challenge is being away from everyone. You know, that whole shelter in and stay away. We have in our organization a lot of extroverts, and they're really having a hard time with this. Our introverts, of course, are celebrating, but our extroverts are having a harder time with this shift. And just on a personal level, I miss everyone. We have an incredible team across the board of about 600 employees, and I would say that every single one of them is passionate about what they're doing for the school. So I miss that, and I miss that energy. What I'm most proud of is almost the same thing, our team, and the culture that they have created and how they're continuing to move that culture forward, though we're socially distanced, and also just how our team is an incredible group of problem solvers. So, like Matt, you know how when you look at a duck in the water and it's just gliding along, but you know underneath their little legs are just paddling and paddling and paddling. So I kind of think about that as being iLEAD schools. So underneath, our staff is paddling and paddling and paddling so that on top it can look nice and smooth for our kids and for our families. And that's exactly what we want in this time of uncertainty. They need to know that something is certain and something is working smoothly. So that's us. And that takes an incredible team that's problem solving all along the way. So like you just asked me some questions about the future. Well, those are things that we're problem solving together so that we can do best for our families and for our kids.
Wow, and I consider myself one of those legs that's paddling, and I constantly check with my colleagues and say, I think we're gliding. Are we gliding? It's good to have the feedback as well from our parents saying, wow, love to see how well it's gliding. Dawn, this has been a short break, but I have a couple more things that I want to talk to you about. We're also getting a couple of questions on the Facebook Live feed. Do you think you can stick around for one more break? Can you hang on with us for about another 15 more minutes?
Absolutely. Yes.
Oh, fantastic. We've got a couple things to take care of, but do stick around. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Dawn Evenson, CEO of iLEAD California and co-founder of SCVI Charter School. You're listening to SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Hi, this is Phil Nordella reaching out to you from my real estate show, Real Estate It's That Simple. The coronavirus and the new stay-at-home orders have significantly changed our lives. On behalf of KHTS 98.1 FM and 1220 AM, your hometown station, here are a few tips to help you get through these trying times. As far as real estate goes, please do me a favor. You don't need to be listing your house right now. Let's take a few weeks. We'll actually regroup. Also, please do not call your realtor and say, put me in the car and show me property. You know, the interest rates are going to be great. These properties will be there when this whole thing actually ends, which I'm hoping that it's soon, okay? So, if you want any more information when it comes to the real estate industry and the coronavirus, tune into my show. It's 10 a.m. every Friday, obviously on KHTS. So, do me a favor, stay safe, stay at home, and let's flatten that curve. I'm Phil Nordella.
It's allergy season again. You've tried it all, yet your sinuses continue to be a problem. Try something different, something holistic, something that will really work. Acupuncture. Kathleen Keneally is Santa Clarita's acupuncture and innate specialist. She's been treating many of your neighbors and their children for allergies, sinuses, headaches, and pain. Find out how acupuncture can improve the quality of your life. Call Kathleen Keneally for a free phone consultation. 252-4100. 252-4100. Acupuncture. It really works.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 Freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
Hi, I'm Pastor Rusty from Real Life Church with a minute of encouragement. Fear is always reduced when you help others rather than think primarily about yourself. When you get stuck in your own head, your world shrinks and your leadership becomes smaller. It's similar to a person who becomes critically ill. All their effort and energy rightfully and understandably moves to getting better. They don't have the ability to do anything other than focus on themselves. When you find ways to invest in and help others, you become a bigger and stronger leader and person. Your confidence rises and you become more effective. It may be nothing more complicated than an encouraging word or a sincere prayer, but that may be more life-giving than any of your more sophisticated strategies. During this COVID-19, we'll get through this the way we get through everything, together.
If you would like prayer, text the word prayer to 661-270-7788.
And now, a cooking tip from Keith Mowry of Bob's Country Meats. Cooking brisket is simple, whether you do it in the oven or on the grill.
Okay, briskets come out nice. You want to brown them up real good on the barbecue over medium heat. Season them up however you like. Wrap them in foil. Put them on the other side. Go down to a low temperature, low heat, and let that go for about 2.5, 3 hours, just on low with the lid closed.
For the tastiest brisket in town, visit Bob's Country Meats on Soledad in Canyon Country.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. We're with Dawn Evenson this morning, CEO of iLEAD California and co-founder of SCVI Charter School. Dawn, I mentioned before the break we had a question from one of our Facebook viewers. One of our families is asking if there's going to be any adjustments in grading for grades 6 through 12 this year with the shift to distance learning. Are there going to be any changes that you know of?
Absolutely, there will be. If you have been following what the state of California is suggesting, I think our policy is very much in alignment with that. So people are asking, will it be pass-fail? Will it be grades? That policy should be going out to our boards sometime this week. And you have to understand, in the structure of our organization, we're not like a district per se. Mm-hmm. Each one of our schools has its own school board that makes those decisions. So what we're providing to them is some guidance and some ideas and some sample policies so that they can put that together. But, you know, I was thinking about it in college, at least the college that I went to. You could choose to take a class pass-fail, or you could choose to have it graded. So one thing I know for sure is that colleges and universities are saying that this they're not going to put a lot of weight on the grades from this semester, because so many schools did start, last week with distance learning. So their kids are at a greater disadvantage than ours.
Sure.
So, we're just following that, the guidance from California, and I think that information should be coming out shortly.
Okay, so our parents should be hearing from our boards and our schools very soon. That's good to know. Now, Dawn, we've constantly talked about how, this time is a time of crisis and adjustment, but it's also a great time of opportunity, where we have an opportunity to re-examine what we're doing and how we're doing it. So as we move forward out of this pandemic, what would you like to see from your schools or from all schools for that matter as we come out of this pandemic?
Well, in a perfect world, what I would like to see is a shift in the idea of what education is and could be. I think that there's real power in flexible learning and flexible learning environments. I think that we need to, as a society, rethink schools. What does that look like? What can that be for our kids? And really focusing on true learning, putting kids in the driver's seat and empowering them to learn new things rather than having particular learning forced upon them. and empower them with voice and choice, because our kids could really change this world for the better if we would, as adults, oftentimes get out of their way and let them do that work. So really, I would just like to see an overall overhaul of schools and what it means to be truly learning.
Dawn, I know you remember my first year with iLEAD schools at SCVI, and my teammates kept telling me, "Dude, get out of the way, let the kids do it." And it was a struggle for me, but kids continue to impress me with how they step in and they can handle it. I think the world is learning that, so I'm hopeful there with you as well. Now, what about summer school? I know iLEAD has had several different models of summer school in the past. Do we have plans for summer school yet? Are we still working on that?
I've seen some things from the state of California where people are asking about summer school, and I've been hearing that it's a hard no as far as funding goes. And of course, you can't run a program without funding.
Sure.
However, in iLEAD, we do have in our organization a couple of schools that are year-round, and some of them offer Track C as a way to bring up your grades or make up credits or whatever the learners might have been deficient in once they went into this. So we should be offering that like we do every year.
Okay.
Mainly through iLEAD Online, and I think Empower Generations also is year-round.
Okay. So while for the state it sounds like it's going to be a hard no, it's, as usual with iLEAD, it's going to be, well, we'll find a way to do it. So,
yeah, find a way to say yes.
Right. Now, Dawn, we only have a couple more minutes left, and I did promise you the opportunity to kind of talk to your different constituents. As we enter the 6th week of distance learning, what message would you have for our learners, our family, for our staff?
Oh, for everyone, I'm just so proud of you. I'm proud of our families for taking this on seamlessly and moving things forward with sometimes having, 4 to 6 kids in their home. That's a scheduling nightmare when it comes to sharing technology and Wi-Fi sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And for our staff, I can't say it enough, and I know I said it earlier in this broadcast, but our staff is incredible. They are passionate, they are problem solvers, and they're willing and ready to try to do anything. And you know what? They're not afraid of failure. If they fail at something, they're going to learn from it and then turn that into something beautiful. So I'm just blown away at how well everyone has handled this. And our kids, of course, we knew they're probably the most resilient in our whole organization. And they were on Zoom and participating and having fun with their facilitators after the weekend that we had closed school. So
you are listening to SCVI Charter Schools Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson. Stay tuned. We'll be back.
Eric Hallaby, CEO of TFS Financial Insurance Services. Many people suffered a loss in their retirement accounts due to recent market volatility, but none of our clients lost any money because our clients never move backwards with the market. Our clients keep their principal and the interest they've earned, and when the market grows, they have an opportunity to earn interest tied to the market growth. We call that reliable retirement income. Sound good? We'd like to help you. Call us at Total Financial Solutions, 888-99-RETIRE. That's 888-99-RETIRE, 888-997-3847.
Dutton Plumbing, it's Eric.
Son, it's Mother.
Mom, where have you been? I left 3 voicemail messages. We're supposed to be working on the Dutton Plumbing recruitment campaign.
Who answers their phone anymore? I text like everybody else, son.
You text?
Yes. Ernesto, my exotic dance class teacher, taught me how to text, among other things.
Wait, what? Exotic dance class? Mom? Anyway, we need more plumbers and techs to apply for work. Thanks to our $73 drain clearing, we just keep growing. We offer great pay, ongoing training, health insurance, 401k, even a batting cage for fun. We got to get the word out.
Well, why don't you let people apply for work by text? Make it fast and easy, son. Just like that college girl you used to date.
Mom?
Plumbers and techs. Now it's easy to apply for work at Dutton Plumbing. Just text the word MOM to 25000. You'll be asked some questions, and in less than 2 minutes, you'll be done. Again, text MOM to 25,000.
DuttonPlumbing.com.
California Credit Union, the only credit union in Santa Clarita focused on our educational community. California Credit Union offers low rates on loans for personal and business services, along with financial services for teachers, students, staff, and families. Free checking and very low new and used auto loan rates.
California Credit Union, your personal credit union, located in the River Oak Shopping Center next to Target.
Visit us and open an account today. Insured by NCUA, an agency of the federal government.
KHTS, AM 1220 and 98.1 FM Santa Clarita. It's 10 o'clock. Time for national news on KHTS.
Right direction. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News. In New York, epicenter of the U.S. outbreak, the numbers of new hospitalizations and deaths from coronavirus continue to decline. Governor Andrew Cuomo just reporting 478 deaths yesterday compared to more than 500 on Saturday. He does expect the infection rate to rise as more people leave their homes and become more active, but Cuomo also expects the numbers to be better than they were leading up to the peak, again emphasizing the need for more testing to be part of a gradual reopening plan. Many governors are under pressure from protesters to start loosening restrictions. This man in Maryland says not yet.
While I sympathize with everybody's need to reopen the state's business, I believe it's just too early to even have the conversation.
More protests over stay-home orders are planned around the country today after another round over the weekend.
Protesters spent Sunday demonstrating outside Kentucky's capital as Governor Andy Beshear talked about the Commonwealth's worst single-day spike in coronavirus numbers. The protesters are demanding Kentucky's economy be reopened. Beshear has said previously they need to reach certain benchmarks, such as the statistical so-called curve flattening. Kentucky has nearly 3,000 cases and nearly 150 deaths, mostly in Louisville and Lexington. Eben Brown, Fox News.
President Trump accusing Democrats of playing a dangerous political game by criticizing the administration over testing, but he says he will work with governors to get it done. And bipartisan talks on more money for small businesses could reach a deal soon on folding in some of the Democrats' demands, including billions of dollars for hospitals.
Much better position than we were, say, a week ago. And let's be fair, this president has taken immediate action every time one of these relief packages related to COVID has hit his desk. He has signed it.
Counselor to the president, Kellyanne Conway. America is listening to Fox News.
These past several weeks, healthcare workers, first responders, and retail workers have emerged as heroes. Lowe's recognizes their efforts, and we want you to join us in creating DIY thank you messages using items you can find in your home. A can of paint, wood scraps, or even Christmas lights. You can find ideas to get you started at lowes.com/buildthanks. Once your message is ready, share it outside your home for them to see, and online using the hashtag #BuildThanks.
I'm giving Jeb's basement renovations 1 star. He kept asking me what's behind the walls down there. I'm like, why? What do you know?
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
And then he's like, you can trust me with the job. And I'm all like, trust?
And while Progressive can't save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial auto and business insurance.
Yeah, he charged me less than he said he would, which is lying.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
The why remains unknown in Canada after the weekend attack that killed at least 18 people, including a policewoman.
A gunman disguised as a police officer opened fire on people in their homes and set fires in a rampage across Portapique, Nova Scotia. The deadliest attack in Canada's history. Police say the suspected shooter was also shot dead.
My hearts go out to everyone affected in what is a terrible situation. I want to thank the police for their hard work and people for cooperating with authorities.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, investigators are still seeking a motive, though say that many victims did not know the killer. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
The suspect was 51 years old and owned a business making dentures. A divided U.S. Supreme Court rules that juries must be unanimous to convict defendants of serious crimes.
A Louisiana man convicted of second-degree murder won his appeal at the U.S. Supreme Court because a jury convicted him on a 10-2 vote. Louisiana and Oregon are the only states that do not require a unanimous jury verdict to convict defendants of a serious crime. But a 6-3 ruling from the Supreme Court finds the Sixth Amendment requires state juries be unanimous, a ruling that overturns a decades-old precedent. Justice Neil Gorsuch argues if the right to a jury trial requires a unanimous verdict in federal court, it requires no less in state court. Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The head of the World Health Organization says the worst is yet ahead of us in the coronavirus outbreak. Worldwide, there are now more than 2.4 million cases, including over 760,000 in the U.S. And U.S. deaths, over 40,000, are nearly 1/4 of the world's total. Oil prices plunging more than 40%, spurring a sell-off on Wall Street. The Dow's been down nearly 200 points. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Thanks for listening to KHTS AM 1220, Canyon Country, California. K260CO 98.1 FM, Santa Clarita, California.
The best live theater can be found right here in the Santa Clarita Valley. The Canyon Theater Guild has been entertaining audiences for decades with top quality musicals and plays. Located on Main Street in Old Town New Hall, CTG also offers workshops for the young actor in your family. For more information, call the box office at 799-2702 or go online to canyontheater.org.
98.1 FM, AM 1220 KHTS, Dr. Palucki, who is ubiquitous on the KHTS airwaves, joined us on air on Tuesday afternoon, discussed how Santa Clarita residents can maintain good health and keep up a healthy diet during this time of self-isolation and the coronavirus pandemic.
Here's a quick tip. If you're starting to feel stressed out or run down, B vitamins could help because B vitamins are important to metabolism and nerves, but since they're water soluble, they move through you pretty fast. And too often people don't get enough of the 8 types of B vitamins from food only. So when choosing a B complex, make sure that it's in its activated form. And that means that an activated vitamin is already the way that the body uses it, so it goes right to work for you. A quick test to see if a vitamin is in its activated form is you look down and see what does it say for B12. Methylcobalamin is the activated form of B12, but the more common cyanocobalamin is not as effective. And activated vitamins may cost a little more, but they're actually more cost effective and a better health value. For more information, go to drpalucki.com.
That was Dr. Thomas Palucki here on KHTS. For the latest news and updates regarding the coronavirus around the Santa Clarita Valley, go to hometownstation.com.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 Freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
Time for a car wash, but fearful of the scratches that go along with it? Canny Car Wash and Valencia Car Wash proudly use 100% lamb's cloth to prevent scratches and provide the best wash possible. Both locations use environmentally friendly solutions to wash and wax your vehicle, and they both accept all other car wash coupons. Give your vehicle the wash it deserves. Visit Canny Car Wash on Soledad across from Edwards Cinema, or Valencia Car Wash on Creekside Road behind Target.
City Councilman Bob Keller here. Keep it tuned to 98.1 FM and AM 1220 KHTS, hometownstation.com, for the latest information regarding COVID-19. KHTS will have both national and local news and information during this unprecedented time. For more, go to the KHTS website or the KHTS Facebook page. KHTS is also available online in the free app for iPhone and Android. Continue to social distance, only going out if it's absolutely necessary, and continue to check on friends and family. With your help, we will flatten the curve and come through this stronger than ever.
The following is sponsored programming and does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of KHTS or its ownership.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. We are also on Facebook Live. If you've got your computer or your phone handy and you want to Facebook us, just go to Facebook and search for KHTS Radio, and there you will see us. We are live in studio. This is Matt Watson. I'm your host. You're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I do want to start off by apologizing to my last guest, Dawn Evenson. We had a heart out for local and national news and updates and things like that, and so we had to cut off that last answer. Dawn, we really are sorry, but we appreciate you coming in and again, everything that you're doing for our schools and for our community. I know Dawn also wanted to talk about how she's been able to support not only our schools, but other school districts have reached out, and maybe we'll have her back on real soon to continue that conversation. But Dawn, we apologize for having to cut you off, and then remembering that Dawn is also my boss. I'm real grateful for social distancing today. I know she'll forgive me. She's very much the forgiving type. My next guest has been with College of the Canyons for 21 years. James Glapagras-Clag is the Dean of Educational Technology, Learning Resources, and Online Education. He supervises distance and accelerated learning, libraries, and tutoring. He directs the Distance Education Captioning and Transcription Grant, supporting California community colleges in making distance learning accessible. And boy, I bet a lot of people across the state are grateful for him today. He was previously president of the Community College Consortium for Open Educational Resources and president of the Directors of Educational Technology in California Higher Education. He has substantial experience in accreditation with a particular focus on evidence collection and distance learning. James was a tenured faculty member in history and has taught online, hybrid, and face-to-face classes. Before joining College of the Canyons, he taught at the university level in Portland, and he studied in Germany. He's also studied at Illinois Wesleyan University, the University of Chicago, and the University of Cologne in Germany, and Cornell University. Wow. He's fluent in English, German, and Polish. James, welcome to the show. Would you mind if we did today's interview in English?
Holy cow, Matt. Thanks so much. Where did you dig that stuff up? I most definitely did not send that much embarrassing information to you and your colleagues there. But I'm happy to be here to talk about all the great things that College of the Canyons is doing here locally.
Embarrassing information. James, if I had that background, it would be on my business cards. Wow.
Well, thanks, Matt. I'm very happy to be here, and you did great with the name. A lot of people stumble over that name, so a lot of people just refer to me as James GG, which is just fine.
That's good to know for the future. We'll go with it, James GG. Fantastic. It is a mouthful, as well as some of the different places that you've studied and the things that you've done. Your title is probably taking up half of that business card right now. We really appreciate you coming in. Again, welcome to the show.
Well, thanks so much for having me.
Of course. As if your job wasn't important enough before this whole thing, I'm sure that people are just banging down your door figuratively, calling you. I bet your phone's ringing off the hook. So talk to us. Tell us, College of the Canyons has offered online classes for years now, right? But things have shifted. What's different now?
Yeah, well, thanks for that, Matt. Definitely the past month has been quite an intense month. Fortunately, as you indicate, we've been offering online classes at College of the Canyons for many years now, since 2005. Well, 2005 is the year in which we offered our first fully online class. So we've got a great team of folks who support online education. We've got a great team of folks who support technology at the college. So we're really we were a month ago when we realized what was going to happen. We realized we were in a really good position to continue supporting our students in our community. And I think the first thing I want to make clear for the listeners out there is that even though our physical classrooms are closed right now, the college is open for business. We are here all the time supporting learners in a new way or in an expanded way of online learning. So way back, as I said, in 2005, we offered our first fully online class. We were the second community college in California to require our faculty to get specialized training to teach online. Even a few years ago, we had a whole winter term that was only online classes. So again, this is normal part of what we do at the college. At the beginning of this spring semester, where we are now, spring 2020, fully a quarter of our classes were online already.
Wow.
So we've got a lot of technology infrastructure, a lot of training, a lot of faculty who have worked extra hard to learn how to teach online and teach online really well. What's changed now is that rather than having 25% of our classes be online, we're looking at probably 90% of our classes are offered what we kind of call now remotely. And we can talk maybe a little bit more about the difference between traditional online class and what is happening now is remote education. So we've got more of our classes, nearly all of our classes happening off campus, right, through virtual means, let's say, and all of our support services have transitioned to that as well. So if any of your listeners benefited from the free tutoring in math, English, and all kinds of other subjects that the college provides, that tutoring is available online now. If your listeners remember going to the library and speaking with a librarian about a research project, they can still do that just remotely now. If you need to speak to a counselor about how to make your education plan, if you need to sign up for classes, all of those things are still available, just not physically on campus.
Sure, and I know that provides maybe a little bit of a shift of understanding and the way we do things. But I have to tell you, James, I've been so impressed by everything that you guys are doing at College of the Canyons. I spoke with a couple of your colleagues last week, and I spoke with Dr. Van Hook on the air. And in this time where so many organizations are kind of scaling back the services due to necessity, right? And certainly you wouldn't blame anyone. There have been a few organizations that truly see the vision and the opportunity that we've been given here. You guys have not only continued with just about all of the services you've always provided, but you've even stepped up and started providing more services, newer services, deeper levels of support. It almost seems like your students are getting more support today than they even were in past months.
Well, thanks for saying that, Matt. We sure hope that's the case. We sure hope that our students and our community feel supported throughout this. As I mentioned before, because we have been offering online classes for a decade and a half now, there's quite a deep level of understanding throughout the organization around how to do online well and the necessity to do online. We know that it's not simply a matter of one professor on their own saying, "Oh, I want to teach an online class," and then somehow it magically happens. Definitely, it takes a ton of work for that professor to transition a face-to-face class to an online class. Absolutely, but we also need the technology infrastructure. We need to, as I said, have our librarians available online to support students. We need to have mental health support available for students in this time, certainly. Incredible kudos to our colleagues all throughout the organization. We're still getting our paychecks. We're so blessed and so fortunate. Our colleagues who work in our payroll department, they figured out a way to keep working too. So that's absolutely amazing. And we see examples of that all throughout our community. So we're really happy to be one of the community services that is still providing for our community at this time.
Absolutely, definitely. Now, James, you mentioned the difference between remote learning and online learning. So what do you mean? I just assumed everyone shifted to online. Is there a difference between remote learning and online classes?
Well, formally, in the eyes of, let's say, the federal government or the state government that regulates us, and the same would be with our K-12 schools, it's all going to fall under the bundle of distance education or remote online education, most broadly. But in the business, let's say, in the business of higher education, people recognize that what's happening to a large extent right now is, frankly, an unprecedented response to a worldwide emergency. 2 months ago, nobody uttered the word remote learning. It really just wasn't a concept.
Right.
And yet, 2 months ago, responsible organizations, responsible schools would have said, if you want to teach an online class, you've got to spend a a couple of months learning the techniques of designing that class. You've got to spend a couple of months practicing the skills to communicate with your students effectively when you're not physically in a classroom with them. You've got to spend time with technology specialists to understand how to design material that can be accessed by students with disabilities, and on and on and on, let alone understanding what buttons to push and where to click on the website. So what a lot of teachers and professors have had to do in the past month is just turn on a dime and all of a sudden overnight find a way to continue communicating with their students, find a way to continue engaging with their students, and at the same time, parallel to keeping their classes going and keeping their students going, parallel to that, they're taking advantage of all kinds of training that's happening around developing and delivering a really, what we would call a solid, well-designed, well-thought-out online class. So all over the world, you've got a lot of examples of students and professors continuing to communicate under what we would really describe as this emergency remote learning, not quite where we expect the design of an online class to be. But all over the world, we see faculty and teachers working really hard to sort of catch up with what the circumstances are demanding of us.
You're absolutely right. Educators, professors take years kind of honing their craft. And if I'm used to being in the classroom, I may kind of perfect the nuances of communication with my students and turning my lectures into a conversation. And professors become really good at that. And then when you change the platform, it's not as simple as, well, just do the same thing only on the computer, because you don't get the reaction of your students in class. You don't have necessarily the interactive questions and answers or kind of call and response. It completely changes everything. Most professors would say, okay, I'm going to need to take a semester sabbatical to prepare for this shift. And we told them, look, you've got a weekend. You've got a couple of weeks at best. So what does it look like now? What is it look like? What is it looking like? What is it looking like as your staff makes that shift? Are they simply going to Zoom rooms and continuing to do things the way they normally did? Are they using more email? Is it FaceTime, text? How are they communicating with their students?
Yeah, great question, Matt. And the answer is all of the above and probably more. So what we would term today a traditional online class typically takes place in an online classroom that we would describe as learning management system. In the California community colleges, we use a product called Canvas. So your listeners, if they've taken an online class, they'll be familiar with Canvas. All the stuff sort of happens inside that online classroom. The documents are exchanged, assignments are uploaded, discussions take place. A professor might post a video of herself communicating with students inside that online classroom. It's kind of this online box of a classroom.
Okay.
And what's happening today, again, all over the world, is, and certainly at College of Canyons, is we do see a lot of faculty who have quickly made this transition, learning how to use Canvas and learning how to use those sort of established tools to communicate and interact with students online. And they're communicating a lot more via email. They're communicating a lot more via text message. They're communicating definitely via Zoom room, and we've seen a lot of funny memes around Zoom rooms and Zoom meetings, or even FaceTime, or for listeners out there who are familiar with the online gaming community, Discord might be a familiar communication platform for them. I know some faculty who are communicating with their students on Discord because that's where the students are. The real key is that consistent, regular and effective interaction with your students, trying to engage your students in a regular and effective way. It's not that big of a lift to say, hey, go online and read this book, or go online and read these articles, right? We can do that. We can have students at home by themselves reading stuff. That's no problem. But we want to engage with them. The magic comes in the interaction between the instructor and the student. So there are a lot of different ways in which that's taking place right now. And I'm going to bet that 6 months from now, a year from now, when both K-12 education and higher education look back at what's been happening, we're going to find that a lot of that live synchronous communication that's taking place via Zoom or different chat apps is really kind of interesting and kind of engaging for our students. So I'll bet you a year from now we're going to find a lot more quote-unquote traditional online classes using those more spontaneous ways to communicate with students. So there might be some positive that comes out of that in terms of keeping our students engaged.
Well, I'm certainly hoping so. And I have to tell you, James, the knock against, not education, but schools, the knock against schools is we seem to be the slowest to adopt new technologies, and we seem to want students to adapt to our style rather than vice versa. It's beautiful to hear that your staff is reaching out and communicating and working with your students in the way that your students hear, right? The way that they receive things. I'm sitting here looking at our engineer Shane, and he's a college student himself, and I see him kind of nodding when you talked about communicating on Discord. Yep, that's where you would find him. So that is great to hear. That is fantastic to hear. Now, I'm sure it hasn't always come easy. What are some of the challenges that your instructors and students are facing as they move from on-campus classes to remote and online classes?
Yeah, well, I think we first have to acknowledge that all of us are feeling anxious about what's going on in the world. We can't get away from that. So whatever positive side of this we might talk about, or negative side of it we might talk about, we have to remember we're all going through this incredible time of uncertainty in the world. But within that, we've recently done a survey, or the online education team at College of the Canyons surveyed our faculty who have made this transition, and we asked them what the most difficult part of making this transition has been for them. And the two top responses we received from our faculty were first of all, a lack of familiarity with the tools. So that tells us that the ones who are finding some of the difficulty are the ones who perhaps have not been teaching online all along, or have not been embracing technology all along. So this is new for them. Some of our colleagues, and I'm sure this is the same in the K-12 and all over the world, a lot of our colleagues have been excellent teachers in the face-to-face classroom, and that's what they've excelled at, and that's how they've helped their students succeed. And now, due to circumstances beyond our control, they've had to move to using different tools, and just some of them are unfamiliar with those tools. So that learning curve with new tools. And then, as you talked about, translating that give and take in the classroom. How do you translate that to an online setting or a remote setting? You and I can kind of chat here, go back and forth, confirm with one another whether we understood the previous thing that somebody said. Mm-hmm. But if you're delivering this online, you want to type it out, or you have to record a video that's frozen in a sense. So you have to choose your words very carefully. And I'm sure in your business, Matt, the difference between doing a live show and doing a show that gives you the ability to do multiple takes of something. So, you don't have that spontaneity or the ability to be spontaneous as much anymore. But amongst our students, our faculty report that over half of our faculty report that the students are adjusting reasonably well, and that's a great relief. A smaller percentage tell us that the students are struggling to some extent, not floundering, not desperate, but around a quarter of our faculty tell us that students are struggling somewhat to adjust to this new mode. And of course, that can be for a lot of reasons.
Sure.
Could be that anxiety we're all feeling. It could be the home situation. Perhaps a student previously, to use a computer, went to the college library and got to spread out, got to spend the entire day using for free an up-to-date computer in the college library, and had somebody available to ask if they didn't understand something. And now maybe that student's at home, doesn't have access to a device, doesn't have access to a reliable internet connection, doesn't have access to a quiet room where the student can study. Maybe it's a multi-generational household. Maybe there are a lot of new demands on the student because of what's happening in our world. So just the students' individual situations have probably changed a lot.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many different layers of what's going on, and sometimes we see the manifestation come across differently. It just translates into, well, these students are struggling with my class, but the root could be so many different areas. It's so challenging. We're talking with James Gigi, the Dean of Educational Technology this morning. Dean of Educational Technology, Learning Resources, and Online Education at College of the Canyons. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but please stay tuned. We will continue the conversation in just a few minutes. You're listening to SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
He broke records and piloted the F-18 Super Hornet in combat. Answering our nation's call, he served with honor. Then Mike Garcia returned home to his family, to a far worse California from where he grew up. Now, Garcia's next mission: cut taxes, clean up homelessness in our cities. With California on the brink, we need a fighter to answer the call once again. Mike Garcia for Congress.
I'm Mike Garcia, and I approve this message.
This is Suzette Martinez Valadares. Many child care centers are closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The child care providers that are open are serving our essential workforce and finding it very difficult to find or purchase the supplies needed to keep their facilities clean and children healthy. Our healthcare professionals are fighting to save lives. First responders and law enforcement are bravely serving our community. And our grocery store clerks are keeping our local markets stocked. This is our chance to help them. This is why we are launching Operation Childcare. Our mission is to collect donations for local early childhood education providers serving our frontline essential workforce. Donations needed include hand sanitizer, disinfectant wipes, disinfectant spray, disposable gloves, and masks. These donations can be dropped off at KHTS Radio, located at 24320 Main Street in Newhall, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday.
You see so much when you look at your child. A creative spirit that surprises you every day. Curiosity that develops into exploring unique passions. A little leader growing every day to discover who they are, what they love, and how they can make their mark on the world. At SCVI, we see those same amazing things. Our tuition-free K-12 charter school gives your child boundless opportunities to think critically and imagine freely, with a customized learning program built around each individual student. As iLEAD's founding school, SCVI combines an immersive approach to traditional subject learning with extracurricular activities including STEAM, robotics, theater, music, and sports. SCVI has the only international baccalaureate program in Santa Clarita, with a 10-year proven track record of graduates excelling at top universities. And we're in your backyard, just off the 5 freeway in West Santa Clarita Valley in Castaic. For enrollment information or to learn more about our program, including homeschool options, visit iLeadSantaClarita.org. iLEAD Schools, free to think, inspired to lead.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
Your hometown station.
KHTS is the only station I listen to.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. You're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. I'm your host, Matt Watson. We're talking with COC's Dean of Educational Technology, Learning Resources, and Online Education, James Gigi. James, before the break, we were talking about some of the successes and some of the challenges for your staff and for your students. But I know our community is so grateful for the way that everyone at COC has really stepped up to make sure that the learning continues and that people's education and then therefore the subsequent careers and shifts in their lives can continue forward and they don't have to hold off, put everything on hold. We really appreciate that. Now, we know we've been talking exclusively COC, but we know that obviously COVID has affected the whole world, not just Santa Clarita, right? Do you have an idea, a sense of what other colleges and universities are doing in regards to remote learning?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, Matt. We know that across the United States, 95% of colleges and universities, 95% of higher education has done exactly what we've done at College of the Canyon, and what we're seeing all across the state of California in our community colleges and our partners in the CSUs and the UCs shifted rapidly to remote and online learning. Some institutions were better positioned to do that than others. If you take a traditional small liberal arts institution that sells essentially the experience of being on campus, those institutions were much less prepared to make this transition. Now, community colleges all throughout the United States, which pride themselves on providing access and getting as many people into education as possible, community colleges have been doing online education for a lot longer. But even beyond the United States, I was looking at some statistics from the United Nations over the weekend. We know that 93% of students around the world are affected by school closures, and that adds up to 1.6 billion learners who are out of school. 1.6 billion around the world. That's almost 200 countries. I think it was 191 countries around the world have school closures. So, it's not easy if you are out of school, and I know some people are really struggling with not being part of the community aspect of school. And we were chatting before we started this morning. We both have children who are seniors in high school, and I know that my son, who's a senior in high school, he's really missing the senior experience, the last chance to do this, and signing the yearbooks, and the prom, and these different events that are milestones of the senior year. And I keep wanting to say to him, well, 93% of students around the world are out of school, but of course at that age it doesn't really lessen the impact.
But this is my senior year.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely. So we talk about, you and I both kind of looking forward to with anticipation and also with a little bit of intimidation, having those college or the high school seniors. One of the biggest challenges for students moving into higher education and their families is the cost of education. I'm looking forward to next year and got kind of that lump in my throat. So what's College of the Canyons doing to help out with this challenge, with the cost of education?
You're absolutely right, Matt. And that's probably more important to think about than ever for a lot of families who are suffering under this, the economic downturn that we're all going to go through. Well, at College of the Canyons for years, we've been very, very sensitive to the cost of education. We're, on the one hand, as a California community college, the enrollment fees are set by the state, and they're the lowest in the United States. But on the other hand, there are all kinds of other costs that come up out there that everyone has to think about. For example, the cost of textbooks. Over and over and over again, if we look at student surveys at College of the Canyons, across California, all across the United States, students identify the cost barrier of textbooks as one of the top barriers to successfully completing their education. It's not unheard of for a textbook to cost $200 or $300 for a class, and when the class maybe costs $100.
Right.
So a textbook can cost double that or triple that. So the cost just continues to go up and up and up. So College of the Canyons has been a leader in reducing or even removing the cost of textbooks. We have for many years worked with our faculty to create their own textbooks, to author their own textbooks, or to create new textbooks that take material that have been created by professors at other institutions, explicitly meant to share with one another. We hire our professors because they know stuff and they're really good at teaching. And that knowledge base from years of graduate work, as well as the teaching experience, that can translate really well into teaching materials that we don't have to rely on commercial publishers for. So we've got a team of folks at the college who work alongside our faculty to help them put their ideas and their knowledge and their teaching skills into, let's say, textbook format. Those are online textbooks, of course, in this day and age. We refer to that concept as OER, or open educational resources. The idea of sharing material that's licensed in a way that permits people to share it, reuse it, update it, so that we're providing the most current knowledge to students, which is particularly important in a lot of technology fields and career education fields. And we believe that over the past academic year, our faculty working to use this kind of open educational resources, they've saved our students over $4 million in textbook costs and what they otherwise would have spent on textbooks. And if you think about that from the community perspective, every dollar that a student in our community is not spending on a commercial textbook that's going to some publisher in New York, that's a dollar that student has to spend in our community, whether it's at a local restaurant or local, rent locally. So it's money that's invested back in our community. So that's been a huge game changer in terms of cost for our students, but also our faculty are able to communicate teaching materials that are local and relevant to our students' own lives. Students can see themselves in the materials. Again, instead of some anonymous publisher somewhere else telling us what we're supposed to teach, we can ensure that our local faculty are communicating to our local students in ways that best meet our local condition.
That is a great point, and we really do appreciate that. Now, for people that are suddenly at home and they're trying to complete their remote learning, continuing to move forward with their career, what advice do you have about how they can best succeed at this time?
Boy, Matt, that's a great question. It's a tough question to answer because it depends so much on everybody's individual situation at home. It's one thing for me to say, go find a room in the house where you can be quiet and close the door. But that's because I have a house with multiple rooms, sure. Right? Not everybody's lucky enough to be in that kind of a situation. But let's say generally, just as students used to set aside time to go to the college, try to set aside dedicated time in which they're focusing on their classes, whether it's communicating with their professors via email or via Zoom or logging into Canvas, or it's reading that book and writing that paper, doing the math problems. It's extremely important to continue a schedule, continue a regular rhythm of the week. Tuesday is math, Wednesday is philosophy, Thursday's math again, etc. Try to keep that regular schedule to the best of your ability. Of course, we recognize maybe people are home now and they've got family members they have to care for that they didn't have before, but to the extent you can, keep that regular schedule. Set aside space. It really helps me to have a dedicated space for work, just so that my brain doesn't get confused and think that when I'm at my work desk, I can log on to Twitter or turn on Netflix. Those activities happen in two different spots in the house. But going more into the schoolwork, I'd say this is the time to over communicate with your professors and over communicate with your classmates. If there's anything that's preventing you from focusing on your studies, anything that's preventing you from completing an assignment on time, please communicate that to your professors. Our professors care tremendously about their students and our community, and they're going to want to know what kind of the barriers you're facing so that they can help you overcome those barriers, give you a break on maybe a due date, maybe identify more resources that we have at the college. And of course, this is a time to you continue utilizing those resources. As I mentioned before, we have tutoring online via Zoom. You can be in a Zoom room live with a tutor, with another human being helping you with your math homework or helping you with your English paper. The same with mental health services, the same with library. All those services are still available, so please take advantage of those. And even if you don't come with a specific question, you can log on and get into that tutoring room or that library space with a librarian and just listen to what other students are asking. Just have that feeling of being in an academic space again, so you can get your mindset back of being in the learning mode. So again, I guess overall, set that schedule, but remember that we're here to help you, and we've got a lot of ability to identify different resources for you.
I love what you said about over-communicating. Oftentimes we think we're going to be bothering our professors, but by communicating with them, we're allowing them to do a better job. We're allowing them to do their job better. So it's really important. Now, we've only got about 1 more minute left, but you had mentioned resources that are available, James. What resources are available for students whose classes have gone remote to allow them to connect with their class and complete coursework remotely?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So College of the Canyons has successfully loaned 250 laptops to students in our community who have needed them to continue with their coursework. If you are a student who needs a laptop to continue with your coursework, please let your instructor know or check your College of the Canyons email for instructions on how to get in touch with the proper folks at the college to get a laptop. In addition, our college has worked incredibly hard to coordinate with software providers, free licenses for some software, reduced licenses for other software, so that students can continue using specialized software that they might once have used on our campus. The best way to find out information about that is to go to www.canyons.edu/online education. That's canyons.edu/online education, and click on the student button there, and you'll find a link to all kinds of technology resources that can help you keep learning.
And as always, reach out to your professors for more help. James, we really appreciate it. I want to thank you for your time, and thank you for all the hard work and innovation that you and the rest of the staff are putting in to keep higher education up and running in our community. We really appreciate it. We're going to take our last commercial break, but please stay tuned. Cristina Debray, our show's official licensed marriage and family therapist, will be joining us next. You're listening to SCVI Charter School's Eye on the Valley Homeschooling Answers. I'm Matt Watson on your hometown station, KHTS.
Hi, son. Can you help me back up this truck into the Dutton Plumbing warehouse?
Hold it. Turn off the truck. What's going on?
Well, I was watching the news.
Uh-oh.
And I heard we should stock up on supplies. So I just bought a whole truckload of toilet paper for us.
Mom, we don't need this much toilet paper. This receipt says 100 cases. We'll never use that much.
I think we will. When the Senior Ladies Club goes out for Taco Tuesdays, and they can really tear it up.
Now I can't unsee that. How about if we just share all the toilet paper with our customers?
Maybe something like call now and get a roll of Dutton Plumbing toilet paper for just $73.
Maybe that would work better if we threw in a free drain clearing, Mom?
DuttonPlumbing.com. Get a roll of toilet paper for just $73 plus a free drain clearing. It flows or it's free with a money-back guarantee. Go to DuttonPlumbing.com.
This is Bradley Gross from Santa Clarita Grocery. Santa Clarita Grocery serves fresh groceries to families, individuals, and those experiencing homelessness. At Santa Clarita Grocery, out of every dollar donated, a full 99 cents goes directly to the needs being addressed. As an all-volunteer-led organization, we operate on a 1% overhead, receiving no government funding for our operations in the community, resulting in us being one of the most efficient charities in the Santa Clarita Valley. If you're looking to support the good for our community, please consider partnering with us by donating to Santa Clarita Grocery. What is donated is specifically kept in the Santa Clarita Valley, helping over 3,000 families, including 5 other community charities. Please visit our website, santaclaritagrocery.org, or visit us on social media or call us at 425-7575. That's 425-7575.
Hi, this is Phil Nordello reaching out to you from my real estate show, Real Estate It's That Simple. The coronavirus and the new stay-at-home orders have significantly changed our lives. On behalf of KHTS 98.1 FM and 1220 AM, your hometown station, here are a few tips to help you get through these trying times. As far as real estate goes, please do me a favor. You don't need to be listing your house right now. Let's take a few weeks. We'll actually regroup. Also, please, do not call your realtor and say, put me in the car and show me property. You know, the interest rates are going to be great. These properties will be there when this whole thing actually ends, which I'm hoping that it's soon, okay? So, if you want any more information when it comes to the real estate industry and the coronavirus, tune into my show. It's 10 a.m. every Friday, obviously on KHTS. So, do me a favor, stay safe, stay at home, and let's flatten that curve. I'm Phil Nordella.
As the stay-at-home order continues through the month of April, Burger King is committed to following state and federal safety guidelines when it comes to serving you, the customer. Although in-restaurant dining has closed, pickup and delivery service continues. The current hours are 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. You can mobile order through the BK app for pickup, or you can use any of the delivery services like DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, and Postmates. Burger King on Lyons at the 5 Freeway, now with service at 2 drive-through windows.
Your hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to KHTS, your hometown station, 98.1 FM and 1220 on the AM side. This is Matt Watson, and you're listening to Eye on the Valley, Homeschooling Answers. We're joined now by Cristina Debray, a licensed marriage and family therapist with a remarkable story of resilience and determination of her own. Cristina is a trauma and resilience specialist who graduated from Cal State Northridge and Pepperdine University. She practices right here in Valencia. She's got more than 18 years speaking experience and works with medical professionals, patients, schools, parents, and business professionals. Cristina, good morning. Welcome in.
Good morning.
It's good to have you back. Cristina, we spoke last week about coping skills and how people are working to get through this stressful time. Some of us are using some healthy coping mechanisms, and some of us are struggling a little bit. You know, I was reading an article over the weekend that really touched me about how many migraine sufferers have had to forego their preventative treatments during this crisis because it's just not as safe and healthy for them to go in and get those, like I said, preventative treatments. It's been really difficult for them, and I work with quite a few people who struggle with migraines, and it just broke my heart to read that article. So, but then I started reflecting on you and all the different things that you do with your patients and families. I'm so grateful that treatments as important as mental health care are still being delivered, albeit online, via FaceTime and all different other platforms. However, some folks who have not seen a therapist previously might be a little bit more hesitant to start now, and that worries me. Cristina, what are the possible consequences of neglecting to access mental health care that we need, both in the short term and long term?
So there are a lot of different, the answers to that question, I mean, I could talk for days or weeks about what are all the possible consequences, but I want to just talk about some of the general things. So first of all, for people who already have existing problems, you know, you have generalized anxiety disorder, you have PTSD, you have bipolar, whatever it is, you can, it can get worse, right? So just like we talked about before, we have our information processing system, which is the freeway. So when someone has an existing mental health problem, already now there's issues with high traffic on that freeway, right? And so when we have something like this happening, which is no longer just a short-term crisis, this is now ongoing, and that's the difference between a single episode trauma and complex trauma. When it's not necessarily one identifiable thing, it's lots of things put together, and it's now turning into this, you know, crazy everything show. And so now all these cars are getting on the freeway. So for those who already are struggling, likely going to get worse or struggle significantly, especially if they aren't in treatment. You can also see chronic physical health problems. So in the short term, it can be unexplained aches and pains. For example, migraines. On a side note, EMDR therapy can be very effective for migraines. So anyone who is dealing with migraines and is unable to get their normal treatments, please consider giving me a call, because that is something I can specifically help with. Wow. For long term, trauma lives in the body. So you can start to see health problems develop long term. Now, we might not be seeing that right now. I can say as a type 1 diabetic, the first couple weeks this was all going on, I was noticing my blood sugars were jumping up way higher than normal. It's because my stress response was engaged. I'm releasing more cortisol into my body, and that's going to worsen my diabetes. You're going to see performance issues. So when our stress response is engaged, we'll see a drop in IQ, and that can impact our performance. So if we're not already having job stability issues, we can worsen. Now, also, I'm seeing lots of car accidents and things going on, even though there's less cars on the road. Well, this makes sense because people aren't able to think as clearly. And then that impacts our ability to survive as well, make strategic decisions.
So there's all different kinds of ramifications. I didn't really think about how, what's going on with with my stress, my anxiety, my worries is actually going to affect me physically. That's incredible.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And that can impact, too, our ability to sleep properly or eat properly. So we might be under-eating or overeating. I was just talking with someone over the weekend about feeling like they can't sleep because their stress response is just on. So what's great is that EMDR therapy can very quickly address that. And so, one of the great things about, in terms of people I understand right now that especially for people who have never gone to a therapist before, the idea of going to a therapist for the first time during all this is absolutely terrifying. So myself included and many other local therapists offer free initial phone consultation. So you can call, and it's just to ask questions, talk with them over the phone, see if it would be a good fit. And then when you start therapy for the first time, it's what's called an intake session. So that's an initial diagnostic session. So right now I'm doing all that via telehealth. So that is when, you make a determination at the end of that session whether or not you'd like a therapist. And then at the end of that session, sometimes it can go for 2 sessions depending upon what's being brought to the table. Right. But that's when you can make a decision about, hey, do I feel comfortable working with this therapist, and does this therapist feel like what they have to offer is a good fit for me?
So that is so important. So if you're struggling, I want you to make sure that you reach out to your healthcare provider, or you can contact Cristina directly at 661-513-4857. If you're not sure whether you need it or not, contact Cristina, again, 661-513-4857. She can give you that free 15-minute phone consultation. You can chat about it and see what you guys think. You can also head over to her website, CristinaDebray.com. We've got that posted on the Facebook feed here on Facebook Live. Again, CristinaDebray.com. Cristina, thank you so much for your help. We look forward to talking to you again next week. That is all the time that we have for today. We do want to thank our guests, Dawn Evenson, James Gigi, and Cristina Debray. Join us tomorrow when we catch up with the mayor. I know he just did an update over at the city. We will be updating with him tomorrow. You are listening to your hometown station, KHTS.
Finding the right lawyer can be a